You are listening to Brand Me, Alex Merced, with me, Alex Merced. On this show, we'll be talking about the ins and outs of branding and how to empower yourself by defining yourself. We'll talk about the tools, the methods, the strategies, so that way you can take a brand to achieve your goals in your personal life, your professional life, in all of your life. If you need help implementing these ideas and using these tools to achieve your goals, contact Alex Merced to be your branding coach by heading over to mercedbranding.com. Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from Brand Me, Alex Merced. And you're listening to Brand Me, Alex Merced, the podcast. And basically, what I want to talk about this week is we now kind of know what our brand is. We know the message we're sending, who we're sending it to, and what we're hoping for them to do. That's sort of the who, what, where, when, and why of branding. But the next step is we actually have to go get that message out there. Now that we know what our message is, where do we have to get it out there? So every week for the next following so many weeks, we're going to go through different platforms and talk about the thinking through it. Most of these first are going to be social media platforms. So before that, I want to go through a few different guidelines when it comes to social media that you should always keep in mind. Social media is about being social. So it's all about engagement, because if you don't generate engagement, what's going to happen is that your posts won't show up prominently on social media, and you may be posting regularly and frequently, but you just won't be seen. So it's a two-way, you have to treat it as a two-way conversation. People comment on stuff, you got to respond. You got to go out of your way to talk to people, generate conversations to make people care about you, not just make it a one-way conversation, which, you know, that's something you can more so do with a format like email or something like that, which we will eventually get to as well. So this week we're going to talk about Facebook. And Facebook has a lot of different ways to do the same thing, or a lot of ways to connect with people depending on what you are doing. Now, we're going to use the example again of our theoretical physics public speaker in Texas. And what would I do if I was that person? Okay, so basically, first thing you want to do is really kind of get to know your market. So I would actually go look for Facebook groups, hopefully that already have my target market in them. So see if there is like a Texas physics group, or even more specifically a Texas theoretical physics group, or, you know, in this case, probably a lot of the universities would have groups among students in the physics department. So you might look for that and try to see if you can get in that and get to know the people in there. And the first step would be to actually build rapport with people in the group. So at this point, you're not necessarily really, marketing yourself or promoting yourself more than you're building a relationship with the group. This is going to accomplish a couple things. You're going to learn what they're interested in. So what is it that people are talking about? What are they asking about? Is there a specific topic in theoretical physics that you may want to plan your next talk around that you're going to care about? And this way, when you take the next step of building out your Facebook page, they're actually going to care enough to like the page. So basically, I would spend some time in the groups, participate in some of the conversations that are always going on. Don't just be making your own conversations and not participating, because it won't leave the right impression. And again, you'll just be wasting time. So participate in the conversations, get to know everybody, and that'll be sort of step one. It also gives you a lot of valuable information on sort of what they're going to be receptive to, because you're going to see which conversations are getting more engagement, which conversations are not getting any kind of response, and all that's going to be information you can use to better construct your communications. So once you do that, the next step would just be to create your Facebook page. Your Facebook page is a large part of making your stamp your brand, so you want to think about every aspect of it. When you create your Facebook page, there's a couple of different assets that you're going to want, and you want to make sure you kind of get all those little details taken care of, such as your avatar, your picture. You're going to want a picture that kind of conveys the message that you want. So in this case, we're talking about sort of the funny theoretical physics speaker. We definitely want a portrait of some sort, and a playful portrait, something with them smiling, laughing, etc., to convey that they're sort of more lighthearted, playful. Okay, if you were sort of that serious, super educated, veteran speaker on the subject, then you might want a more serious, professionally shot photo. So you want to think about sort of what conveys the message that you are trying to say in your avatar photo, and then you have your cover page, which your cover page should also be something that kind of reflects that same mood. Even if it's just a wallpaper pattern, you would want it something that reflects the same mood. So if we're talking about like laughter, light-hearted kind of thing, we probably going to want some light colors there. We don't want to do like a dark brown and a navy blue, because it kind of, depending on the juxtaposition of those two colors together, doesn't necessarily communicate that bouncy, laughy feeling. So, just kind of think through all those aspects, make sure all the details are filled in before you invite anybody to the page. And then before you actually go to the groups that you've been participating in, tell them, hey, I just started this Facebook page. First thing you want to do is invite anyone on your friends list. And what you should have probably been doing is going into those Facebook posts, and in those Facebook groups that you've been participating in, anyone you think that might be part of your target market, friend them. Okay, if you're comfortable with having other people as friends on your personal account, because then you can invite them to the Facebook page, which makes it much easier to get their like. Okay, so you would just invite all the people you think would be interested in what you're saying based on the conversations you had. As a first step, invite them to the Facebook page. And then what you can do is you would share posts to the Facebook page on things that that they're going to be interested in. So if there's an article that everyone's already discussing in one group that you've been watching in, that you're sure that this other group is going to be really interested in, don't just share the article. Share it to your Facebook page first, and then share the post from your Facebook page into the group. People will discuss the article, they'll be interested in the article, but since they're going to see your Facebook page, they may like your Facebook page right there and then. Also, when people like your Facebook posts, you're able to invite them to the page. So it gives you a sort of a hook to get them in there. But always make sure that you're putting out content that they're interested in. And if you can't find content, you make content. Write up an article with some of your thoughts on something that people are talking about. But of course, it's got to be something that's conducive to your brand. So if people I hear people talking around the water cooler about the newest episode of Empire, I'm not going to write about that when I'm trying to brand myself as a theoretical physics speaker. So it's all about being consistent with the brand, authentic and consistent. So those are all kind of cool things you can do. Also, what you can do is when you put those posts, you can boost posts. So if you want to start spending a little money, which I highly recommend, one, it'll help you get a little bit more visibility on Facebook. You do kind of get rewarded for spending $1 or $2 here. Set a budget of, let's say, $1 or $2 a day. And then what you can do is you can boost your posts for a few days. So let's say $1 a day for 7 days. If it's a post that you think people are going to enjoy, what you can do is you can target people who like specifically what we want. You can choose theoretical physics, and you can choose the physical space of Texas. So it'll only be people who like theoretical physics in Texas. And it gets in front of your target market, and if they like the post, you can invite them to the page. A generally very effective way of growing a page. Especially nowadays with a lot of the changes to Facebook's algorithm, it's become more and more necessary to really kind of pay some advertising to really get your page out there. I mean, there's ways to do it manually, but it can be a lot of work and take a lot of time. So that would be the way to grow your Facebook page. But then basically establishing your brand going forward is all around just creating content that's consistent with your brand. And then sharing it to the group. And then if you are going to do that public speaking event, since our imaginary person is a public speaker, creating an event on the Facebook page and making sure that you engage with people on the Facebook on that event and whatnot. Now, of course, as your page grows and you have more likes, I highly recommend doing live streams and about things that are interesting. So anytime you read an article that's interesting or whatnot, just do a live stream explaining what your thoughts are on the thing. It's just engaging when people see you. It's just a little bit more interesting. And it's a very useful way to create that engagement. So that's essentially Facebook in a nutshell. And so next week we'll probably either do Twitter or Instagram. I haven't quite decided yet, but we'll cross that bridge. We'll cross both bridges at some point. Keep listening to the show. Thank you guys for being there every week. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast, leave a review on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher. All I'm asking for is a few minutes a week to allow me to empower you, to empower yourself by designing yourself. Oh, okay. So that's the deal there. Also, make sure to go to mercedbranding.com to find other really useful content, and also find a way to reach me in order to be, if you need like coaching on branding, someone to kind of talk through ideas, to help you achieve your goals, to be in your corner. So that's at mercedbranding.com. You guys have a great day and enjoy. Thank you for listening to Brand Me, Alex Merced, on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. Make sure to like Alex Merced on Facebook, on Twitter, and head over to mercedbranding.com to find us on social media and find other useful advice and resources in marketing and achieving your goals.